I'm still Kevin. And this bad boy right here is a 2002 Ford Focus SVT. What I like to think is one of the front runners in the manufacturer battle to have the coolest sport compact car in the early 2000s. That was until the SRT4 had to come and ruin all the naturally aspirated fun. And I wasn't having any of that. So I went ahead and slapped a turbo on this thing myself. Now back many years ago, the younger version of me thought that this car was very fast. And I sort of still think it is. But is it faster than what I would consider the fastest car in the garage right now? My Evo? Now a few weeks ago I put out a video of my Evo versus my Supra doing 40 to 100 to see who could do it faster. Now I would like to see how this car does. Gasoline that's in this car right now has probably been in there for about 3 years. In order to do this safely, I'm gonna go ahead and put fresh gas in it. I made this little extra hose that I can connect to the fuel rail and run outside the car and turn the fuel pump on, and then it'll just drain all the gas out of it. I guess while it's draining, I can tell you a little bit about the car. This is a fully built 2-liter. It is actually using the block out of a Ford Escort ZX2. It is still using an SVT head. The head is one of the things that kind of differentiated the SVT engine from the regular Focus engine. The bottom end of this engine is fully built. It does have the factory crank, but it does have aftermarket rods and pistons. The head has a little bit of a port job on it, nothing too crazy, stock cams, and it is running a Garrett GTX 3076R. It made just over 400, about 419 on the wastegate spring, which is 19 pounds. It does have a Walbro 450 and injector dynamic ID 1000s fuel injectors. It has been converted to a return style fuel system. This car is quite a bit lighter than the Evo. I believe the Focuses weigh around 2,900 pounds, somewhere in there. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But while we're on the subject of fuel, the reason that this car is even built in the first place is because of the poor design of the fuel tank. The fuel pump sits at the very, very front of the fuel tank from the factory, and there is no bladder system or surge style inner tank that can hold fuel there. So let's say during a second gear pull, if you have a quarter tank of gas in the car and at the top of the RPM range all of that fuel gets pushed towards the back of the tank, it's going to starve that fuel pump and it's not going to get any fuel to the engine, and then that engine is going to shatter a piston, bend a rod, put 2 holes in the block, probably. I mean, who would know really? So now this car does have a different fuel pump hanger in it now that moves that fuel pump a little bit more towards the center of the tank, but a side effect of previous happenings has led me to always keep a full tank of fuel in this car no matter what. We're gonna get some fresh gas in this thing. One of the obvious advantages that the Evo is going to have is traction, which is why I have these things. This is a 235/60/15 Mickey Thompson drag radial. And not only are they wider, but they're also taller. So in addition to added traction on the front wheel drive car versus the all wheel drive car, this also lets me get a little bit more gear because the gear ratios of the Focus are so short because it's designed as a naturally aspirated little autocross hatchback that the turbo just kind of goes through them real quick. So having a 26-inch tall tire versus a 24.5-inch tall tire from the factory allows me to stretch those gears out a little bit further. So I'm hoping that in this 40 to 100 test, I can get this car to 100 in 3rd gear without having to shift into 4th. I know the Focus being front wheel drive is its big disadvantage, and the only reason that I even have a Ford Focus is because my dad, when I was younger, had the crazy idea to put a V8 into a Ford Focus. There is actually a company out there that makes a kit that allows you to put a small block Ford into the Focus and make it rear wheel drive, which I think would be really fun. There's still a little part of me in there that thinks about doing that. I mean, how much fun would it be to go out and get a cheap Ford Focus and be able to slap these things on the back of it? Seems like that would be pretty fun. Car does get a 3mm spacer, barely anything, but the tires are so wide and the offset on those rotor slipstreams is not the best. That tire would hit the strut, so this little 3mm spacer gives it just enough room to where it clears. Another advantage that these wheels and tires have over the other ones is that they're so much lighter. Come with me, let's go do the other side. Focus friends, these wheels may be for sale soon. I have some ideas for this car. If you'd like to see more of the Focus, subscribe, because I think there's going to be more coming. There she is, all set up and ready to go. Now, it is nighttime outside, and it's also 150 degrees. The temperature is supposed to drop quite a bit tomorrow. I think I'm gonna wait and give this car as much of an advantage as possible, a little bit cooler weather, so that the intake air temps aren't crazy. If I remember correctly, the Evo did the 40 to 100 in 5.59 seconds. I'll have to double check. We'll see just how close the Focus can get. Let's go give it a shot. Get some heat into them. I'm just rewatching back some of the footage from that last pull. In third gear, before I shifted to fourth, it got to 99.9. But if it's gonna get to 99.9 in third gear, like, that's annoying. I'm basically doing 40 to 99.9 in 7.02 seconds versus 811. It adds 1.1 seconds shifting into fourth, and it's right there. And that was a bad shift. I think that this car could get into the sixes. I'm gonna set this up just in case I want to do another pull. This brakes, it was another thing that when I was young, I thought the brakes on this car were incredible. And then I just did that pull, and the Evo brakes, unsurprisingly, are much, much better. I mean, this thing has impressive brakes for like a Ford Focus, but they're not what I remember them being. Can I shift better? And can the car do 103rd? Pretty happy with that. Yo, okay, earlier after I stopped I said that this car is not as fast as I thought it was. It's just because I didn't drive it good. This car is so much fun. That was a ton of fun. I'm pretty stoked on that time. I'll put a comparison up on the screen for all three of the cars now since we have that information. Hopefully I'll be able to do this with some other cars soon. I like the 40 to 100 idea. I kind of like just racing a little bit better. Maybe we'll get some races set up. Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. As always, feel free to subscribe. I appreciate it. See you in the next one.